was just thinking, want to go mountain biking in France?
Show me the money!
How about cycling in Quebec?
Oh, okay, interesting.
Okay, so you don't have the cash to go to France? Maybe if you live in the US, you should go drive to Canada. So in this video, we want to show you what the difference is between Montreal and Quebec City. We're also going to give you the secret of our 2 favorite campsites in Quebec. Believe it or not, one of the campsites is actually in Quebec City, about 3.5 miles from the old town. And who guessed it? We can't afford to go out and eat all the time, so we wanted to show you our favorite Mediterranean supermarket. And of course, why would I make a video without cycling? So we have a road gravel tour that we love to do up there. And of course, the main dish of this travel menu is mountain biking. This is why we come here. We're going to tell you our 2 favorite places to ride in Quebec, plus other activities that we didn't have enough time to do. Okay, so it's time to pack for Canada. And always think about a little bit more rain, a little bit cooler. So you will need a passport to travel to Canada. You will also have to use the Arrive Canada app, which requires for you to have an address where you're staying so they can find you, I guess. But it's pretty easy. Eventually you're going to get one of those QR codes and you can head to the border. Don't do this. Do not go to the border without having the QR code and the Arrive Canada app completed. But because of the app, the border crossing is actually super fast, and then you're in the land of kilometers, not miles anymore. Alright, another top tip is you cannot travel with fruits or vegetables across the Canadian border, actually not even back to the US. So first things first, we have to go shopping. We need supplies because we're not loaded and we're not going to go out to dinner and lunch and breakfast. So we needed to find our supermarket, which is our favorite supermarket. It's a Mediterranean supermarket called Adonis, and they have I think 7-8 locations all over Quebec, close to Montreal. This one is probably the best one and the original one. Yeah, look up Adonis Mediterranean supermarkets online and you're gonna be happy. Okay, so Montreal is only about 50 miles from the US border, and since you're kind of sort of driving by, it might be worth checking out old Montreal. Spend a couple hours, sightseeing, get some coffee. Yeah, let's check it out. Okay, so Montreal itself was established in 1642, but Montreal only became a city officially in 1832. You have beautiful stone buildings, cobblestone roads, outdoor restaurants. It's definitely worth a stop. It's also actually quite large to walk all of Old Town Montreal, surprisingly. And if you haven't figured it out by now, everybody speaks French. Okay, so let's compare this to Quebec City, which is about 160 miles northeast from Montreal. This city is one of the oldest European settlements in North America, with an establishment of a permanent trading post in 1608. The history of Quebec City extends back thousands of years, with its first inhabitants being the First Nations people of the region. The arrival of French explorers in the 16th century eventually led to the establishment of Quebec City, present-day Quebec. Quebec City has seen a lot of wars and fighting between the English, the French, the Americans. It is the oldest fortified city in North America, and the construction of makeshift fortifications for Quebec City began shortly after the settlement of the French in 1608. The original wall was only about 3 miles long on the western portion of Old Quebec City because the eastern flank had steep cliffs to protect against intruders. Oh, and if you like cannons, this is your place. One thing we definitely enjoyed a lot was being able to take our dogs to an outdoor seating restaurant and enjoy some nice soup. Alright, here's a top tip. 100%, nobody will know this one. There is actually camping within Quebec City. And it's about 3.5 miles from the old town. You can ride your bike to town. It's great. It's the Govan Club. It's actually in an old industrial park that they cleaned up. And I guess it used to be nice. Then it got really shitty in the 70s. Like a lot of things got shitty in the 70s. They cleaned it up. And it's like a wonderland right now. There's lots of sport activities. Sailing. People go swimming. And you're allowed to camp. So if you wanted to, you can rent jet skis. They do have a pizza place and a bar, a shop. They do have showers. They were not warm when we used them, but bathroom showers nearby. It's a nice feature. And the beach it's awesome. So right next to the camping area, which you see right here, is, believe it or not, is a pump track. Okay, it's not the best pump track in the world, but you're camping right next to it, and you can play around a little bit after lunch, or take your kids out and do some laps. So yeah, kudos for a pump track next to the campground.
Okay, so
And then next to the pump track is the climbing area. They did have some rules on who can camp, like what kind of vehicles and how big the campers can be, but for some reason we saw all sizes and shapes there, so I don't know if those rules really matter. I'll put the link to the Govan Club in the description of the video, and you can figure it out yourself or contact them if it's okay to bring whatever you have there. There's definitely no hookups, electricity, or dump stations. Okay, camping tip number 2 is completely opposite from what we just saw. This one is off the beaten path. A little over an hour north from Quebec City is Val-Bras du Nord, also Shanahan campgrounds, and you will have no pavement, no cell service, no internet, but you're in the woods. Campsites are below big trees, nicely shaded, good for dogs. There's tables, fire pits. There's a bathroom, there's bathrooms, trash collection. But again, no hookup, no electricity, no dump station. Yeah, if you have a small camper, like a van, it's ideal. Okay. But you're camping right at the trailhead of some of the best mountain biking in Eastern Canada that you could possibly find. There's a full bike shop, bike rentals. They even rent e-bikes there. So it's your pickings. And I think they do have internet actually. Okay, so mountain bike is not your thing, weirdo. You can go kayaking down the river. And there's like organized tours. Yeah, there's options besides mountain biking at Val-Bras du Nord.
$53
Per person?
per person, but that's including the shuttle.
Yeah.
And the day before, they're sold out almost every day.
Wow. Okay.
That's
And that's how long?
17 kilometers.
Okay.
So you got to be down there at 9 in the morning. Then they shuttle you back here, and then you go down the river. So you bring the car down, and then you go, and then they shuttle you back here, and then you go down. Cool, right?
Yeah, not on this trip, but maybe next time.
Okay, finally, the mountain bike section of this video. This is fabulous. Mountain biking in Val-Bras du Nord is definitely different than any other riding on the East Coast. So the Nelson Nord Loop is definitely our favorite ride, mainly because it runs along the river, has spectacular views. There's easy sections. In the beginning, it's not too bad and it's pretty chill. But once you start going along the river, it gets a little feisty. Most of the climbing is in the beginning of the loop, so as soon as you get to the river, it's actually a great spot to take a break and get all recharged for the technical single track on the way down. So this is what the trail looked like one day after a heavy rain. It's actually mostly sand. I mean, of course, the routes do get slippery. There is puddles here and there, but the ground drains fairly well for where you are. It's pretty phenomenal. So don't let the rain stop you. So the Nelson Nord Loop is definitely a highlight of that area, but the southern part has a lot of easier trails, and actually combined with some more difficult sections, that's actually a great mix. Also, there's some fabulous viewpoints. Even in that part, you will find bridges and ledges and difficult sections, but a lot of times there's go-arounds. And follow the chicken if you want to do the easier route, which doesn't look easy. And there's no shame of walking a section first before riding. No problem. Many people do that. It's a smart move. You're in the middle of nowhere. So again, Val-Bras du Nord, Channahon Valley is definitely one of our top tips for mountain biking. Advanced mountain biking, there's easier trails to be found in the southern part of the trail system. But overall, you should know what you're doing there. Okay, tip number 2 on where to go mountain biking in Quebec is Lac du Lage, about 30 minutes north from Quebec City. It's an amazing facility, family friendly. You're gonna have to pay a little bit to get in, but there's pump tracks, easy trails, intermediate trails, there's jumps. Basically everybody has something here to do, and I've never seen that many families ride together. It's amazing. There's also e-bike rentals, I believe. There's also the EMTs riding around on e-bikes. So it's a safe place. The trail system is vast. It's all over the place. There's easy climbing trails and hard climbing trails. We only found 2 ways to get to the tops. There's 2 peaks, 2 viewpoints. This kid actually had a race with his brother. He got a 5-minute head start, and they were racing for a chocolate bar. So the trails are really well marked, and intermediate really means intermediate. There's no blind spots, all the backsides are filled, there's no scary drops. And some of the advanced trails actually have go-arounds, so it was great for us to ride. I mean, I could test myself sometimes on some of the more scarier drops, and you know, if you didn't feel like it, we just go around it. So it's a great, well-designed mountain. There's no lift access, so you have to ride your bike to the top, and then you get to do runs. And there's, I mean, like I said, well-designed trails. Okay, I gotta come clean. There's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I hate mountain biking and climbing and climbing and climbing and never getting to a viewpoint. It bothers me. So luckily there's two great viewpoints with the view of the lake and the valley. Okay, go left, easy, go right, drop. So it's well marked. The difficult sections, you can totally avoid them on some of these trails. And here's another great example where if you wanted to go easy, you go take the right and it's marked, and left as a drop. Not super scary, but at least there's warnings. Okay, so mountain biking not your thing? Alright. So let's put a little more air on the tires and hit the bike path, because there's so many bike paths around Quebec City. And let's start right from the campground, and we'll head north towards Mount Saint Anne and enjoy the views. Oh, by the way, if you're thinking you're the only one riding a bike path on a Sunday, you're wrong. It's a great place to explore by bike. I mean, you can look at the neighborhoods, the buildings, the churches, and everything on bike path. I mean, it's really great and bike-friendly city. And of course we have to ride by the waterfall. Who doesn't ride by the waterfall? And you have to take a photo. You have to take a photo.
Always an adventure.
So a little ways up from there is the Powerline Trail that goes all the way to Mount Saint Anne. It's nice little gravel, couple, you know, bigger rocks here and there, but it's between wildflowers, and it's not bad. I'll put a Strava link into the description so you can find that trail.
How's the sand?
It's amazing.
Keep going. You got it.
You know, the trail started to get muddier and muddier. The puddles got bigger and bigger because they had a big rain event that week. So, you know, after we pushed around a couple puddles, we bailed. We took a right-hand turn. Basically, whenever you take a right, it just drops down to the river. And as soon as you hit the river, there's a bike path that will bring you right back to Quebec City. Oh, remember that photo we took on top of the waterfall? Yeah, that waterfall? Well, now we're below it. Hey, you still there? Anybody watching? Oh, you watched the whole video. It's amazing. Thank you so much. How about subscribe and a like? That'd be great. I put a lot of work in these videos and sometimes, you know the drill. So thanks for watching the whole thing.